Hello, everyone. Let's turn this on. What do I have here? I guess my hand had some liner or something. Typical me. All right, let's get to it. Abba, place this beautiful 7-meal course on my spirit that I have to share with everyone out there, because I see how I went through the whole maze, and getting to the other side of the row is the most beautiful part. The sun always shines, people. And this is trigger warning. This is not going to be something for those faint of heart. This is not going to be something for those that have their invisible pearls that are going to clutch. This is something that's going to have a lot of depth. It's going to be long, and I'm not here to apologize for it. Whoever needs to hear it will stay. Whoever doesn't can leave and come back to when they're ready. Let's get it started. So we have chakras, we have organs, and we have spirituality. Okay. When it comes to a meal course, it has different sets, right? We're going to do a 7-step progression. We're going to start with the amuse. Okay. In the meal, the amuse is actually something that will come as a selected bite that's supposed to wake you up. Okay? It's a single spoonful, a sip of a size soup, or a mini tartlet that's gonna ignite you. What I see about this is the wisdom of the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit is what comes up. You can refer to Isaiah 11 verse 2, KJV 16:11. When it comes to the main organs of the body, it all starts and ends with the heart. Why? Because the mind has been indoctrinated to not allow the heart to be free and condition everything that is related to love. So we're going to break the mold today together. Okay. The next part is the chakra. We have main chakras, and the root chakra is actually the one that is located at the base of your spine. And that one is the one that governs your safety, your grounding, stability, and physical presence. So let's put them all together. The first option is that amuse, the root chakra, your kidneys, and the fear of God, right? Even though it all starts in the heart, you have to go organ by organ, chakra by chakra, course by course to get to the main essence. So the theme of this first option is the grounding, the safety, the reverence of your sovereignty in wearing the armor. So it asks you to be present. It asks you to anchor yourself into your body. And it also regulates through the kidneys the sense of fear and the sense of courage. What comes out to be the fear of the Lord becomes not terror, but the beginning of wisdom. Why? Because indoctrination says that we need to fear the Lord. And the Lord is a Lord of love, unconditional love, that He'll love you for whoever you are. But He actually, like a father, will not impose that fear into you, but allow you to see the unfolding of how to fear yourself in order to begin using wisdom instead of, I would say, patterns and behaviors. Let's move to the second course. The appetizer, the sacral chakra, the stomach, and PD. All right. This one, that's the first yes to give to Abba to come into your life and mold you, because you're a piece of clay that has to be molded. And when you don't see yourself as a piece of clay, if you don't see yourself as water, then you're not going to flow and you're going to resist the change. So the sacral chakra is actually the one that governs creativity and is the one that allows you to be in interpersonal relationships where you can bond with others through authenticity. The stomach actually is what processes um, your emotional state of being and your physically state of being. And that comes from an overthinking mind. And that's what you got to do. You got to actually balance that in order to be more soft instead of pity softens the heart into devotion, so you can surrender to the experience without thinking that you have to control anything, because when you flow, you glow. And when you glow, you attract. And when you attract, you're manifesting the pureness of who you are. So, in this moment, you actually are opening your heart to the interaction of giving and receiving. The soup. Let's go to the third course. That is related to your solar plexus and your liver and its counsel. So, it's purification. It's the right that life is giving you through the wisdom of the Bible to be rightfully judge or create judgments out of not only what happens in your experience, but what you are bringing to the table. So that judgment is not that you're going to judge another. That judgment is your justice, okay? It's the moment that you choose yourself. Soups actually warms you up and prepares your inner fire to actually be exposed and get out of that mask that you're wearing because you're scared. The solar plexus is actually the place where sovereignty actually lives, and it's promoted or lived by free will. The liver is the one that purifies, metabolizes, and discerns what stays and what goes. That's when you learn how to close doors that had never had to stay open. And that's how you continue your path in sobriety. Sorry for that. And with clarity, because the counsel that aligns your choices is based on the free will choices you make to be true to who you are and stop acting like something else just to fit in. We're not here to fit in, we're here to break the mold because we're unique. Get that in your head, okay? Fish course number 4, the heart chakra, the heart understanding. So, this theme is about compassion, circulation, emotional intelligence. The fish, where represents Jesus, is the light. And we all have shadows that we need to tame, and they come from unhealed emotions or ignorance of how to ground ourselves. So, an emotionally symbolic place where everything goes in through a duality, so you can clear up what doesn't serve you anymore and soften your heart so you don't have blows. You actually have experiences of knowledge, wisdom that you can apply into your life and become a better part of you. The heart chakra integrates love and forgiveness. When you learn to forgive, you also learn to forget. Not because you're dumb, not because you're ignorant, because you're sovereign and you understand unconditional love. The heart is the one that pumps the blood to your system, and the heart is actually more complex than what the mind is, but people don't understand it yet, and soon it's going to be revealed, because life circulates through the heart, not the mind. The mind is the one that doesn't allow the heart to circulate properly. And when those conditions of the heart come in, is because your heart is not living to its purest form. You're conditioning yourself to live under the the expectations of others, which is sad, because you can get to high places where you think you have it all, but then that loneliness tells you, I still don't have it all. Because you can follow a material dream, you can follow a hierarchy, but when you get there, if you don't have love, then what is that gonna give? How is that gonna give sense to your life? So it's the moment you soften completely and you relay the need, or actually you release the need to have power, control, or be prideful or arrogant or even egotistical about where you are in life, and you start remembrance, like the remembrance of the true power of that heart that wants to beat and wants to actually create a symphony of sounds that embrace that dance between souls and people and connections. The hate cannot be hate if you don't feel that you've been left behind. Hate exists because you think you cannot have what you want. Hate exists because they have conditioned you to believe that you're not lovable. But if you are, because you are created like that, then why are you gonna waste your time in hate when love can just change the world and yourself? And when I say the world, I'm not talking about another, I'm talking about your own life experience. It changes. It changes. Let's go to the main course. It's your throat chakra. Like somebody doesn't want me to speak, right? The lungs, the knowledge. When you breathe, you express out of the pureness of your heart. When you actually just burst out, you're expressing of your lacks. This is a declaration of this main course to be a main statement. It comes out through your throat chakra because you're telling the truth and you're living in integrity, not by faking that you're perfect, but by being honest of who you are. And integrity is not thinking that you're doing the right thing by putting a face to a place. True integrity is knowing that you're not perfect and accepting it and speaking about it with no remorse, no fear of judgment, releasing the burdens that the status quo hasn't placed on you. That's true freedom, because I don't live for what other thinks about me. Like, I don't care what people think about me, because if I allow that to be part of my experience, then I'm never going to feel fulfilled of being myself. I'm always going to be feeling like an outsider. So when the knowledge becomes lived, then you embody the truth. That's the moment that you speak your truth, not because you want to be forgiven, not because you want to be seen like a different kind of person. It's because you do not fear being true to your heart and your soul and your passions. And when talking about passions, we're talking about that service level experience that is sharing with others the authenticity of their truest version of you, and not that fake persona that you created to get to places. You want somebody to see your soul, my love? You got to show up. You got to be present. You cannot live behind a curtain, behind a stage. You have to be there to experience it. You got to leave fear aside. Because if you are rejected, it's not because you were rejected, it's because what you bring to the table may not be what that person likes. And that's respect and integrity. I come up with an open heart without expecting to be accepted, just with the truth that will set me free and will allow the other person to make a decision of what they want to do. And that free will moment where we know that we can get rejected or accepted can change your life forever. Because if you're rejected, you have to understand that maybe you're too much for a person, or maybe you still wanting something that you don't have for yourself. But if you're accepted, that person may be in the same frequency that you, where transparency rules their life. And transparency is integrity. And transparency leads to morals. And morals leads to live a righteous life. Not a perfect life, but a righteous life. So that's when you speak up. You don't shut up. The cheese course. The eye of the spirit is the third eye, is the pineal gland. And this one is not going to open unless you actually detox your body from the external noises. It works in organizing your brain, and it turns every lesson into experiences, and those experiences into wisdom. And that is what helps you mature your emotions. So, this is a bridge where the two worlds collided, which is the duality, the difference between a pure heart and the mind that has been polluted with indoctrination. And it becomes the honey and milk because you savor it, right? It's sweet. So you embody not a fake persona, but you embody your authentic self. And the third eye is actually the one that perceives the patterns that you hid from by confronting them. It's the inner vision of the mission of God, the mission of purpose and why you're here. It's the understanding that I'm not here to fit in. I'm not here to appease others. If it bothers you what I'm saying, then you need to look within yourself, not point at me. Same backwards. If we don't like something about something, it's because we need to look within, not outside. So the brain is going to integrate the memory, perception, and meaning of the things that you learn so you can mature your emotions and then come out and play like an innocent little kid that knows no evil. Wisdom is I will say, the moment that you see what in you needed to be twitched, needed to be left behind, needed to be understood so you can take accountability. And taking accountability, it's amazing because you release the need to be who you're not to fit in. You start being you. and living an unapologetically life, not because you feel entitled, but because you know that you're making good free will choices in life that will actually be just easy choices. You know what's difficult? To keep up the lie. Keeping up a lie is so difficult because you stop being yourself to appease others. And every time you lie and then you go ahead and say another lie to cover that lie, you're just showing people who you are. And if you cannot commute or integrate with that side of you, you're gonna feel guilty, and that will throw you into toxic patterns where you think that you have to reject another before they hurt you and not be yourself authentically because you're scared of being judged or left behind. The moment you leave all that behind, those layers just go away, and you're left with the true authentic part of you that is the loving part of you, because it's pure of nature. It comes with a heart that is like a little kid's heart that knows no evil. It comes with a heart that doesn't judge, it just is. So yeah, it's just beautiful. Let's talk about dessert and the final course. The cherry on top, the crown chakra, the intestines, and the might, the mighty power. Dessert is a sweet seal and your final blessing, because you can sit at the table with those that are meant to be at your table, because they're going to come into your experience guided by the one above and their own true authentic selves, not the falseness that the world made them think that it was part of the experience. The crown chakra opens to divine awareness, which means that the words of the spirit are going to actually allow you to read the Bible as a compass, as a blueprint for you to get enlightened and totally live your life being honest, with an integrity. This is the moment when you actually ascend, when nothing outside of you and that noise does not affect you. What people says is understood as a projection, good advice, or just a sinister comment to make you doubt who you are. And then at that time, you wear your armor because you have the wisdom and you just ignore it. Not because you believe you're better than anyone, because you know who you are and no one can tell you to be who you're not, because now you're true to yourself. I know the camera is giving some glitches. Again, whenever there is a meaningful spiritual message, the enemy will try to block it. So I hope that you guys can hear this till the end. That you see right there are the principalities of the dark forces of this energy that doesn't want to allow us to express ourselves, because they cannot control you when you see them. And you need to see them with the eye of the spirit. So you can let them flicker, and I don't give a crap if they flicker. I just hope that the message comes out and you guys can enjoy it. So before we begin the meditation for this specific 7-meal course, I want to mention the profound meaning of the chapter of Job. He suffers and goes through misfortune, and it's actually in the process of going through that that he discovers his true faith. And know that misfortune is always a punishment for our errors, which they call it sins. People suffer because they're tied to the wrongdoings. But as soon as you're sovereign in the wisdom of Abba, then you can face that suffering and give it no more attention in your life. The meaning of the chapter of Joseph is divine providence demonstrating us how God sovereignly orchestrates everything. If you don't go through these experiences, if you don't see how evil your humanity is, and you start living from your spirit in this material world, then you won't feel that your promises are fulfilled, because his promises come with only one sacrifice: detachment of the flesh, forgiveness, integrity, raising up from being a slave and trapped in your own mind. That's the main goal. The life of David in the Bible represents a man that God's have his heart, right? It stems from how he repents from a true heart repentance and relies on Abba, not with a wavering faith, with true faith that what is meant to become or be part of your experience will come at the right time when you're ready. It's the golden edge, it's a golden age. It's the Christic era that we're getting into. The snake is gone. You already shed those skins. Now you're going to embrace the fire of the dragon. Everything is just where it has to be. Everything has a purpose. He's guiding us to Ecclesiastic, and this one is the one that says that there's always a time for everything, because his plan is perfect. You have to go to the motions of the emotions to get where you need to be, because you're always where you need to be at a specific time, so you don't end up passing the great opportunity when the great opportunity presents in your life, which is an eternal connection with him that's not going to be broken by projections. It's not going to be broken by standards. It's not going to be broken by those forces of principalities that want you to stay stuck. So yes, beautiful. So if you want, you can turn a little mist with your favorite oil warmer, a light. You can dim down the lights. And I want you to be present. We're going to do the amuse. We're going to arrive. Bring awareness to the spine. Sit like in your receiving mode. Sit straight so you can get this light from above that's going to encompass the start of the journey from the spine. All right? Your body supported by where you're sitting. Your breath is actually setting the tone. You're in that place where you know you are safe because you're true to who you are. From your root chakra, you're going to move to your sacral chakra. You're going to open to the awareness of orange colors. You're going to open to the awareness of inviting, of allowing. You are safe, you are here, you allow, and you open. I'm going to take my soup now, and my solar plexus is actually going to choose with clarity. I am clear of where I am. I am clear of where I'm going. I am clear of knowing who I am. And I release what is not mine to carry. Let's move to the heart chakra. We're going to soften our heart. I soften my heart to give and receive with the pureness of the love of a child, with innocence and curiosity. I forgive. I forgive myself and I forgive others. Totally forgive myself and others. I speak with clarity. I speak with integrity. I breathe the presence of Abba in my life, the pureness of unconditional love that lives inside of me. Go ahead. As a dessert, I allow the peace and the calm, wavering energy to sit within my vessel. I am connected with the one above. I am whole. Put a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. See the connection. Let the old patterns go. Let divinity speak through you. Accept it, receive it, transmute it, and let go what that doesn't serve you anymore. I know the flickering on the video, it's going to be uncomfortable, but if you can hear my voice, ignore the screen. Remember, when good things are to be at play, the enemy will always try to mess them up. Listen to my voice. Listen to your heart. Listen to your voice of the spirit. Breathe. Listen to the energy of unconditional love.